So the first thing to start working on is learning how to vary the value, how light or dark your paint is. So this is for any type of paint. One of the first things I tried to figure out, how do I vary the value? If it was watercolor though, it would be about how much water do you put and how much paint do you put. So lots of water, just a little bit of the paint, it's going to create a really light color, right? And then if you put a lot of paint with just a little bit of water, it's going to be darker. And you're also going to start to try and figure out, as it dries, it will probably lighten. So how much does it lighten? Getting used to that with your paint. Now, related to this, you want to figure out how to put that value down evenly, right? So rather than, you can get it to the right level of dark, but then as you fill the shape, the value starts going up and down. There are little patches and splotches, and it's got all this weird texture in it that you didn't intend, right? Trying not to do that. With watercolor, what you're going to want to do is learn how to use the bead so that you start to fill the shape with like these okay, so for the brush, you're going to want to saturate that brush with paint and with water. Maybe dab the excess on a paper towel, and then you start to fill this area, and then you're going to need to refill your brush. And then when you come back, you pick up that bead of water and you keep going. And that's how you can, need to practice that in order to get that nice even value going. All right. So let's say you're able to adjust your value and you're able to fill a shape evenly with that value. These are big steps. Next thing would be how to adjust the edges. So how can you make really sharp edges, and then how can you make less sharp edges? Slightly soften them, we'll call them firm edges. With watercolor, you might put down that shape with a sharp edge, come back with a brush with clean water on it and soften it that way. Or you could wet the surface a bit and then paint onto that, and that will naturally soften that edge. Sometimes you can even just like spray it with water and the edges will start to melt a little bit. There are lots of different techniques, but how are you gonna, and similar with, oil or gouache or whatever, how do you soften the edges, create softer transitions, and how do you sharpen certain edges?